Can you see my screen? Can you see my screen now? Okay, that's nice. So as I said today, we are going to be going into the basics of Excel for the new people that we have in our midst. For the old people, we are still going to do counting. So let's get started. So today, basically, what the main thing I'm going to be teaching you guys is arithmetic operators and comparison operators in Excel. So the arithmetic operators is basically our normal operators that we use, like your plus sign, your minus sign, your division, and all that. Then the comparison operators are those operators that we use to compare a particular number or a particular word to another word to know if they have a similarity. So if they have a similarity, we are going to get an answer. Sorry, yeah. Would there be a recording, please? And okay, I'm recording the class and I'll drop it to the group. Okay. I'm coming, please. Okay, so it's recording. Okay, so let's continue. Okay, so but before I get to the arithmetic operators, I want to show you the main basic of Excel. So basically, the first time you come into Excel software, you're going to see your menu bar up here. You can see your menu bar. We have the home tab, we have the insert tab, we have the page layout, we have formulas, we have data, we have review and view. So all these columns that we have, all these menus that we have here, they have their own work. For example, the home bar, where we can edit our text. So any text that we're going to be adding to our cell, we can edit it from the home tab. So this our home tab is basically used for editing our text. For example, let's say I type in a text. So to type in a text, I need to select a cell. So I can select, if I want to type in any text that I want to display. For example, maybe I want to create a table, and my table has to have a title. So to add my title, I'll select one of these cells here, and I can put in my title. So it can be sales report. It can be sales report. So sales report, so I think that should be in capital letter. So then put it in capital. So it can be sales report. So you can give it any name you want to give, depending on the data that you're working on. Maybe depending on the data of your company, you can put in the name of your company, anything as you want as your title, you can do that. So it can be sales report. You can put it in if that's what you want to type. So you can do that. But I'm just going to put in just name here because I want to create another table. So I'm going to put in the name. First column is going to be name. Then the second column, I can put in name. Let's say I'm creating a student report. I'm creating a student report, so I'm going to give the student name, their student name, class. So you can give class, and then student name, class. Okay, it's going to be the test report. So I'm going to put text score. Just for beginning, just put in text score, and I can put in exam score too. But I just want to show you. So this one now, I can start editing this here. You know that if you're doing anything, like maybe if you're typing, maybe you're creating a table, your header, the heading there is meant to always be bigger than the text that we are going to have for the table. Like the name that is going to be there, the heading that is showing the name is going to be bigger. So please, you're going to ask your question after the class because of the time. So you're going to ask your question after the class. Okay, so now I can edit this text to make it big. So I can come up here now in my home tab. I can come here and I can increase the text. I can increase the text. I can reduce the text if I want to reduce it, make it. I can increase, reduce. I can select the both of them. So if I want to select this range, maybe I want to select the text in the range. I can select the text. So let me see. Hi Kingsley, kindly reduce the tempo of the class. Some are new, so they might not get. Oh, okay. Sorry if I'm fast. Can't hear anything. Have you dialed in if you can't hear? Because I know every other person can hear me. We can't see your screen. Wow. No video, please. Can you guys see my screen? Because someone here is saying he can't see my screen. Can we see my screen? No. My screen is being shared. Yes. Okay. Maybe it's from your own side because other people are seeing my screen. You can see your screen. Yeah. Okay. So maybe it's your network or something because other people can see my screen. So I'm going to try to keep it a bit slow. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So let's continue. Thanks for the. So I can make it big. I can select if I want to select a range, like selecting these three tests because I don't want to be doing them one by one by one. So I want to select everything at once and I want to give them whatever I want, like the color, the font size, and all that. So I can select the all of them by using this clause. If you look at, let me make my Excel bolder so that I can actually see. Okay, so I think this is good enough. So if you look at my icon, you can see it here. If I come over here, you see that the icon there is a big plus there. So whenever you see this big plus, you can highlight a range, means you can select more than one cell. You see, I'm selecting more than one cell here now. I can now come up here and do my editing. Yeah. In this now. So I can now come up here now, select again. I can come up here and I do my editing. I can like increase the font size. Then I can make it bold. If I want to make it bold, I can change the color. So I can change the background color first. The background color could be like a blue color. Then I can have a text color. So my text color can be white. So that's okay. So then I can align it if I want to align. So this one here is for alignment. If I want to align, I can align to the top, bottom, and this one is middle, and this is bottom. And this one is to left, mid, center, and right. So left, center, and right for this one here. And this one is to change the angle. So if I want it to be angled counterclockwise, I can do that. If I want it to be angled clockwise, I can also do that too. If I want it to be vertical, I can want to convert it to vertical text, I can also do that. Rotate text up, rotate that, all this. So if I say counterclockwise, you can see how it's going to align it for me. And angle. And then I can say rotate. So all these here are basically to rotate it and the way anywhere I want it to be. So I can do that from here. I can remove it. Back to normal. Like so it's hanging. Okay. So I can also come in here too. I can edit. I can convert. I can change the type, the text, the type, data type. So data type can also be changed from here, and it can also be changed in here. Like this part is for the alignment. You can align left, right, center. You can top, bottom, justify. Then you can also come here. You can wrap text. This is also here. You can merge. It's also here. So all this we have here. This fill is also here. The fill is to add color. You can add the color. Is also here. So all this we have here is actually here. Then the only thing I will have, and we don't have, okay, we actually have it, is still here, is here. This is it here. The border, you can add border if you want to add border. So then I'm not going to do all that because it's actually here. Let me go back. Okay. So then we can do all that, we can align here. Then this one here is to add a space. So for example, let's say I want to add a space at the ending part here. Let's say you see I have this here is actually a space, but this space is because of the alignment that we have. So let me align back. So let's say I want to add space behind it. I can use my decrease one is to decrease the indent, and this one is to increase it. So if I say increase indent, you see that the space is being added behind for me. You can see a space there. So that's increasing that, is adding a space. I can decrease indent, that's to reduce that space. So increase the indent means the space behind before the text. Then decrease is to also decrease that space behind the text. Okay, so if you're not hearing anything, I think you need to dial in, because I hope that every other person is hearing me, because I'm still saying I can't hear anything. So if you can't, you need to dial in your audio. No. Okay, so let's continue. So that is that I can do. You can add space. I can decrease the space. So I can also merge cells. So I want to merge more than one cells together. Let's say I selected two. You should have two cells here. Like this cells you have here is two. So let's say for the top part, I want to add the title of what I want to do. So to be able to add the title, and the title is going to be a very long title, so I can merge the cells I want. So I want to merge these three cells together. I can merge it, select them, and then come to this place and merge and center. So merge and center, I have a straight line I can type into it. So I can type the title there. So I can say student reports, student reports. So I can add the title I want. I can also put a color in there if I want, as the like a background color. So like we'll give it a background color. And you can change the text color if you want to do that. I can put it white. So I have that. So that's what the merge cells. I select more than one cells and then merge them together. So I can also, the other one, which is the wrap text, is basically to wrap like a text. For example, if I type now, if I type a very long text, I'm just going to put it for you. Okay, let me start writing the name. So let's say the first student name I'm going to add is going to be Joy. It's going to be Joy Johnson. So Joy Johnson is the first name. So this is not that much. Okay, Joy Johnson. Let's say I add another. The person has another name, Peter. Just add it there. And the name is overflowing to the other cell. So if I want, you can see that name is overflowing to the other cell. If you look at it, you see, if I want to type to this cell, that name has disappeared because it's actually under the second cell that I have, because the cell that I have here cannot contain it because that cell is too small for it. So what we can do is, we can do two things. We can come here, select the cell, and click on wrap text. So select cell and click on wrap text. You wrap that text to one cell for you, that you see the text now, it breaks down to the next line instead of going under this cell that we have here. So it's going to break it down to the next line. So we can do that, or we can also just come up here on the column name, on the column that we have here, the column ID. For example, the first column we have is the letter A. So, and that's where we have our texting. So we can come after the column A, like between the column A and column B, you can just come, you see a line, if you see an icon like this now, you can use the icon to increase that our cell now, so that we don't need to break to a new line. Our cell is not big enough to contain our text. So it's not big enough to contain our text. And if you want to type to the next text, it's not going to be covering it because it's no longer behind it. So we have that there. So you can now type the person's class, the student's class, the Joy, something Peter's class. You can type the class. So let's say she's in SS1. Can do that. Then you can type the next student. So let's say our next student is okay. Samuel Peter. So Samuel Peter is a name. You can type that. Come down and then just put in a random name for them there. So after that, now I can put in the class. So they might be in the same class. So because they're in the same class, I can just drag this down from this tiny plus here to this tiny plus here. I can drag this down here and I fill it. But now it's filling the SS1. So I just say copy cell. So if you copy cell, it copies down the SS1 for me. So basically what I just did here is is, so what I did here is I copied this same thing, this same text I have here and bring it down to other ones. So if I drag, but in Excel, if you drag down using this tiny plus, not the big one, not this big one I have here, this tiny plus I have here, if I drag down with it, I will be able to fill out a text, because Excel automatically, using this one, it automatically helps you fill out a text for the other cell that you have down there. Someone else. Can't the column be filled automatically instead of expanding from the line? And you can use sequence if you want to put, in if it's a number, you can use sequence to do that. So, but for this one, I can, okay, you can actually double click and you get down the text. Just double click there, or you drag it down. So if you double click, it brings down the text for you to. Double clicking also works. If I, like, let's say I come at the ending part where I have this tiny plus, I can just double click here and it brings down the main text. But this is not actually the one I want, the way I want it to go. I just want it to copy the one I have here, which is SS1, for the other one, because they are all in the same class. So what I will do is, with that still selected, I can come to this small icon, this autofill option that is showing me here. I can just say copy cell. If I want to copy the cell, so it's going to copy what I have in this cell here and bring it down to the other cells, instead of giving me or another text, like giving me, if you just do it automatically, it's going to give you SS2, SS3, SS4. So, but we just want to copy that one. So after dragging it down, you can come here and change the format you want to copy cell. So it's going to copy what you have here and put it in other ones down, because they are in the same class. So with that, then I can come to this place now and I can add in my second text. So I can add in my second text. My text is going to be from okay, let's say from 10 to it's 20. So I'm going to say 5. So this course is going to be 20. So I'm going to just say 16. And I can also do something like 17 here. So I can just select the both of them. So this is also another easier way to do it. Drag it down. It's going to give me a random number between this thing I have. So 17, 18. So you can see there. So I just want it like that. Then I can also put in the exam score. So let me put in exam score. So put in my exam score. Exam. So the exam now, I want, okay, it's already automatically added for me too. So I don't need to even do it. So I can add this other cell to the expanded one. So just remove this and put it back so that the merged area can also affect this part. So just select it and unmerge it, then merge it back. So with that, now we can add our exam score. So the exam score should be like from like up to 60. So I'm going to say from 56, 56, 47. 47. So just select the two and just drag down. It's too small. Okay, let's see. Let's change this one to like 46. Okay, so that's the exam score. I have my exam score there. Okay. So I can also add project score. So to add project score should come before our exam. It should come before our exam. So I'm going to select this one here. I'm going to right click and add another insert, shift to right. Okay. So let's project here. So I insert another cell. So I can put in my project column here. Let me remove this O and then double click here to make it bigger. Then I can put in a text. So that should be like 10. So I can say 10. So 10 here. 9 here. So I can have this the project score. So that's the same thing. Merge this, select the two, select this cell to everything, and then merge it back. So you cover the other part. So then now I also want to add the total score now. So I want to add everything I have here together. So I want to add everything I have here together. So what I can do is I can start adding. So I can use my plus. Oh, okay. Thank you. Test. Yeah. Okay, so let's continue. So I can add the total score for everything. So total. So it can be total score. You can put total score if you make it. So total score. I can increase that now. I can also add this minus and merge back so that it goes to that area too. So then I can now add it together. So for the people that already know about sum, you know that you can use your sum to do that. But for the beginners, I'm going to show you the two ways you can do it. So you can add together by using your plus sign. So to do that, so if you want to write any, if you want to start any formula or any calculation in Excel, you first of all need to add your equals to sign. You need to add your equals to sign first. So let's start with our equals to sign. Then now in Excel, doing your calculation, Excel does not just do your calculation. If you have your numbers in a cell, Excel does not do your calculation by showing you the number you have. What it does is it uses the cell address you have. For example, to get our cell address, we use the name of our column, the letter in our column. Please, who is writing on my? Please stop writing on the screen. So the letter on our column and the number in the row. That's what makes up our cell address. So the number. So and if you're trying to do any calculation in Excel, Excel uses your cell address for the calculation, except the number you are trying to calculate is the number that you're going to type in yourself. So let's say if I want to type in the number myself, like put in the 56 and put my plus and all that, I don't need to put it in Excel. I don't need to. It's not showing me that. But if I'm going to be putting it in a cell and I'm going to be using that cell to calculate, I have to, if I select it, you see, it's going to be showing me the cell address. And in that project column, you have the column name is C and the low number is 3. So the column letter is C and the low number is 3. So the total combined gives us C3. So the C3 there, I can add my plus now. Then I can add the next column, which is the text. So click on that place. I can select, you see that it's giving me the D3 because in that text area, the column letter is D and the row number is 3. So you get D3. So we put another plus. So put another plus. We can put another plus there now and then add the next one, which is the exam score. So add the exam score and press enter. So you can either add brackets to cover the distance, or you can just do it like that. Either ways, it's going to work. I can just press enter and I get my answer. I can also add brackets, opening the bracket and closing it at this end. It also works. So I'm going to just click my enter. So I get my total score, which is 82. So now I don't need to start doing the same thing for all these ones. So I can use my fill cells, which is the tiny plus icon that I'm going to see under here. So with this tiny plus icon, I can double click and I get the answer for the remaining ones that is going to be done. So this down one here, I can get their answer. So for this one is 73. This one is 64. This one is 72. So we have the answer for that here now. So I have that. So I can also do other ones. Let's say if I want to minus, I want to do like subtraction in my design. The same way I did the plus, I can also subtract. For example, for this step back, let me just add a random one for this. We're going to come back to our table. So let's say I want to minus this from this. Okay. So minus this from this. So very easy. The same way you did that, your equals to sign first. Equals to select your first text and then say minus, adding the second text. So press enter. It's going to give you your correct answer, which is 21. So the same way we did the plus, that's where we do the minus. So that's the same way you do your division. So if I want to divide, the same way, equals to first, select the text, then put in my division sign. Sorry, division is your backward slash. Is it back forward slash? Then select your second text and enter. So this is our division. We cannot actually reduce the decimal places. This is in decimal places, so we can reduce the decimal places. To reduce the decimal places that you have here, you can come up here where you see our decrease decimal and increase decimal. So this is to increase the decimal and this is to decrease the decimal. So I can decrease the decimal by clicking on this. I have decreased it. I can also increase it by clicking on it. So I can increase it. So I already increased the decimal. I can also reduce it from here. So decreasing. Okay, so that's the division, and you can also do multiplication. You want to multiply, so the same way, select, and then your multiplier, you're going to be using asterisks. So your asterisk is what you're going to be using for the multiplication. Put your asterisks, then select the next, then press enter, and you get G. So this 67 times 46 is going to give us 3,882. 3,082. So that's the answer for that. So that's just to show you that the same way you do the other one, that's how you do this one. So the voice is not going with the video. Okay. Maybe it's your network. Maybe your network is slow. Or is it the same with every other person? I think it should be your network. So let me go back. So that's how. Okay. It's okay. Let's go ahead. So I think it should be your network because it's okay with all of it. So let's delete this. Let me just clear instead of deleting. So I can just clear contents. So clear contents, I have that cleared. Okay, so it's maybe from a network. So let's go ahead. So that's that. I have got to my total score. I have added the project, the test score, and the exam score together to get my total score. And it's okay. Okay. So let's continue. So that's that now. So this is the first way you can do it. But the way we did it is like a long process. You see, adding this one plus this one plus this to be able to get that. What if you have like in that column, you have like the scores, maybe they are doing English, math, different subjects, and we cannot be start adding all of them together. So what we can do is we can use our sum, a function called sum, to do that. So the sum is basically your addition. It's going to add all the things we have here together for us. But we don't need to go and start selecting all of them one by one to be able to. So what we can do is, for the sum is add your equals. Remember that if you want to do anything on any function, any formula, or any calculation, you put in your equals to first. Then you select the row you want to use. So this is the row I want to use for the calculation. So I'm going to say, okay, sorry. First of all, equals to first, your sum. That's the function we are trying to use, sum. Then after the sum, you select the row you want to use. So this is the row I want to use. Then after that, I can just close my bracket and I press my enter. So I get the same answer. I can just drag down here. I get the same answer for this one. So the same formula is being passed on to this one. So the same formula is being passed on to this one. So the same formula is being passed on, but now it's giving us this one for this one. It's no longer using this one for the calculation again. It's giving us this one, and for this part, it's going to be using the down. Well, that's basically what Excel does. Excel knows that whenever you fill down or whenever you copy something down, Excel will always automatically try to use the next row because it knows that you will not need to copy something down unless you are, okay, for example, if you are doing a calculation, you will not need to copy something down unless you are trying to use the next row to do a calculation. So Excel, what Excel does is when it goes to the next row, it's going to use that next row to do a calculation for you. It's not going to be using the one you use as the first. So the first place we did it was this place. Now, but Excel coming down to the next one, Excel is now using this other row to calculate for us. So using that field series is copying that formula, but is using another cell to do the calculation for us. So that also happens whenever you have something like, for example, let's say I have another number here. Let's say I have I have 12 and I have 13 minus into 14. So let's say, and I want to add these two. Okay, let's say I have the 2 here. So I want to add like 2, these 2 to this number. I have all these numbers. I want to use this 2 here, and I want to use that 2 to like maybe times. I want to times this number by 2. So if I come here and I say equals to 12 times 2. So if I press enter, and it gives me the answer, right? But if I drag it down, see what it does? It gives me 0, because what Excel does is, you see, it's copying this same cell here. This is, instead of using this cell that I want it to use for other rows, is copying the next cell to use for the calculation. And in the next cell we have 0, and 0 times 13 is going to give us 0. So that's what it does for this. Also, what you can do, there are 2 things you can do. You can convert, if you want to do something like that, you can convert this row into absolute cell reference. So you can convert it to absolute cell reference, or you can just type in the number yourself. So we want to type 12 times 2. So you don't, instead of selecting the cell that the 2 is, you just put in the 2 ourselves and press enter. So if you drag it down, see what Excel does. Instead of, it's going to go here now. In the next cell, it's going to use that same 2 to times it by 2. Next one, it times it by 2. Correct? So that's what it is. But if you have it in a cell, you have to put an absolute cell. So what you need to do if you are using it in a cell is to add it to an absolute cell reference. When you select it, you just use your $sign. So for the one that you want to be logged to, for example, for us now, in what we have here now, we want to lock this formula that we're doing to this 2, so that we can use this number 2 here, which is in cell F8, to calculate the 12, and also use it to calculate the 13, and also use it to calculate the 14. So to be able to do that, we need to convert this, what's it called? This number 2 here, which is in F2, to an absolute cell reference. So convert it to an absolute cell reference. To do that, put in your $sign in front, in the beginning, and in the middle. So in the beginning of that F8, where the number 2 is, we put that in the beginning and in the middle. So with that now, if I double click to bring this down, so you see the same thing is happening for this. So it's not this F8 is still the same thing that it's using for this second one, and the F8 is still the same thing that it's using for the third one. So that's basically that. So it helps us lock it to that cell so that we can just do the calculation from that cell instead of going down to the next cell. Remember, if you don't put it there, what Excel will do is it just shifts everything down to the next cell and use that next cell to calculate for you. So, but if you just lock it to that particular cell, it will be locked like that, so that the next cell the next calculation that you're going to be doing is going to be, that same cell is going to be used for that calculation. So that's what the absolute cell reference is basically used for. There are another scenario that we're going to use it when we get into, maybe in your VLOOKUP, if you watch the videos, it's in the VLOOKUP too. There's a scenario that I use it, or maybe in the next class, when we are doing VLOOKUP, I'm still going to also show you how you can also use it in that part. So it helps us. So if you don't want to be typing the number like the way I did the first one, you want to be selecting in the cell, maybe it's in a cell that you have to be using. So you can lock it to that particular cell and it's going to be used for the other calculations for you. Or you can just type in the number that I want to use for the calculation. Then when you go down to the next one, it's going to still use that same number instead of doing this one. So both ways work perfectly well. You can use them. Okay, I'll do that. Right. So basically, this absolute cell reference is for us to be able to lock a particular number to a particular cell. For example, now, another question, please. I am just joining. You have to wait till the end. You ask a question because I cannot be going back to the beginning. By 7. Okay, so let's continue. So I'm just going to go back for this. So the absolute cell reference is basically for example, now I want to use this my 2 that I have in this F8, in this cell F8, to calculate the 12 in this cell D8, and also want to use the same 2 here to calculate the one in cell D1 in cell D9, and also for the one in cell D10. But if I just put it like that, if I just select the way I know I'm multiplying. So equals to, select the first number, then put your multiplication sign and select the second number. So if I do it like this, it's going to give me my answer, right? I press enter. But for the other ones, maybe I have 10,000. I just want to bring it down. I want to just drag my use my fill series to bring it down. I bring this down here. So you see, it's not going to work because what they are telling the exam to do is, what we want the exam to do for us is to use these two to calculate this 12, and also use this two to multiply this 13, and also use the same two to multiply the 14. Okay. So I also use the same two to multiply the 14. But if you look at what we have there, what the exam is actually doing for us is it used the two to multiply the first one, which is the 12. Then it's also come to this second one now. It's no longer using the 2 again. Remember, the 2 is just in our F8. But now it skips down to F9. But we want it to use what's it called? The number 2 in F8 to calculate the second one, which is 13, which is in F9, which is in G9. So to be able to do that, we have to convert that F8, the first one, to an absolute cell reference. Or you can just type in the number you are using. You can just type in the number that you are using here. So for example, we want to multiply by 2. So we can just put in the 2 here and press enter. It's going to give us the same answer. I can just drag this down and I get the same answer for all this one down here. So I can do this one. This one is very easy. I can do something like this. But if it's a composite, I need to leave it in that row. It has to be in that column. I need to be in a cell. I need the number to be in a cell to be able to use it. I will just convert that my number in F8 to an absolute cell reference. So what I'm going to do is to convert it, I put my $sign in the beginning and in the middle. So put a $sign in the beginning and in the middle. And if I press enter, now I double click here. You see, it's no longer showing us 0, but it's still using. We are not using the number 2. We are using, come here, we are still using F8, but it's just in an absolute cell reference. The cell there is an absolute cell reference. So it will just come down to the next one. Coming down to the next one, it's not going to jump to this second cell here. It's just going to use this same cell that contains the number 2 to do it for us, to calculate this 13 here. It's also going to use this same cell here to calculate this other one down here, to calculate the D10. So instead of jumping down to the F10 too, it's going to use the F8, the cell address F8 to calculate the D10 for us. Do you understand? What if only, I don't get, someone say, what if only one number is locked? That's what we just did now. It's just one number that we locked. Hope you understood. Okay, so everybody said yes. Let's move on. So that's the cell reference. So let's move on. So that's our arithmetic operators, which is using all these operators we just used is our arithmetic operators. I'm coming. I have a mistake. Let me delete all this here. Play. So that's our arithmetic operators that we just do, the plus, the minus, the times, and then our division. Okay, one more is our exponential. So exponential is, can we get the video after the class? Yeah, I'm going to drop the video after the class. Nah, this one I understand since I follow this one. Okay. Okay. So relative cell reference is basically what we're already using. So the one that the exam is actually doing now, that it goes from this to this, is your relative cell reference. The one when you do a calculation that is something like this, 61, and 45, 45, and 43 here. So, and then this I have 12. So with this now, if I do a calculation like this, I select this, put in my asterisk, select this, and enter. So if I drag this down, Excel using this same one now, like this, the way it calculates, you see, it uses this and this, it comes down to select the next cell. That's your, what's it called? That's a relative cell reference. That's quite easy. That's a relative cell. Coming, the other one, what we wanted to use is just one number to calculate a range of numbers that we have. So that's absolute. If you're trying to do something, that's absolute. Then if the numbers are going to be going from cell to cell for different distance, that's your relative cell. Like this, what we have here now. Like this calculation we have here. Like this calculation we have here. The first, in this first calculation, it uses this cell, these two cells. Then in the next one, it uses the next two cells. That's the relative cell reference. Hope you understand. Okay, so let me go on. You understand? Like this, just to. Okay, so the next one I didn't cover is your exponential. Is also still in your operators. So the exponential is basically. Okay, so the exponential is basically raised to power. So let's say I have 61 here. I have 61, and I have 52 here, and I want to do 2. So the exponential is basically, you say these 2 raised to power this number. So basically, if you say raised to power, if you say 2 raised to power this, that means this number times itself. So that means this number times itself. That means 61 times 2. That's exponential. And to do that, it's just like the way you do your multiplication too. So if you want to do that, is equals to, select the first number. The exponential sign is your caret is up. When if you in your keyboard, where your number 6 is, to press it, press down shift first and go to where your number 6 is on the top. When you press it, you're going to get your caret. That's it here. You can see that's your exponential sign. So select it, then select the next one here. Then enter. So what it does here is it just gives us this number times itself. So if you say you change it to 3, if you change it to 3, it's going to be this number times itself 3 times. That's basically what it means. That's your exponential. That's what your exponential does for you. What if I put $sign between F and you put your $sign in the beginning and in the middle? Put your $sign in the beginning and the middle. Okay, so this one is your exponential. Someone was asking a question about the $sign part. So this is your exponential. So if you want to bring down, remember you have to lock. So the same thing, just lock this to. Please stop drawing in my keyboard, please. Someone is drawing on my screen. Okay, so like this, just lock down and then bring this down. So you get the answer for the next one. So this is your exponential. Then the next one we have is our comparison operators. So comparison operators is basically used for comparing. So let's say, for example, now, I want to compare this their text score. Now I want to compare, I want to say, like, for example, is Joy text score, is Joy total score greater than what's it called? Samuel total score. So if Joy total score is greater than Samuel's, okay, you want to log the both. Oh, if you want to log the both number, you the same way for the other one. If you put that same thing for example, if you want to log the both number, sorry, please, you guys should just give me a minute. Someone is asking. So if you want to log the both number, you put for this one, you do the same thing for this one. Put the $sign in front and in the middle. For the second one, $sign in the front and in the middle. That's how you log the both of them. So if you also want to lock one, that's what we just did. The one we did is lock just one, which is the one that was in the F8. So if you wanted to log the one that is in D8, D10 too, or D8, you need to put that same thing for the $sign in beginning and in the middle. Okay, so let me continue. So let's say I want to compare this number now. I want to compare to know if Joy text score, the total score is greater than Samuel total score. To do that, I can use my comparison operators. Like, for example, what we want to do now is this is greater than. So what we can do is put equals to, select the first one, and then you put your comparison operator. For example, what we want to do is we want to know if this number is greater than the other one that is down, which is the Samuel's total score. So I'll just put my greater than sign. So then select the next one. Then I can press my enter. So if it's greater than it, it's going to give me true. So if it's greater than, it's going to give me true. But if it's not greater than, it's going to give me false. So for example, let's say I do it the opposite. I do lesser than. So I also use lesser than. So I say if it's lesser than, So it gives me false because the number, the joy total score is not lesser than Samuel's total score. So joy total score is not lesser than Samuel's total score. And I was using my lesser than sign here. So the joy total score is not lesser than Samuel's total score. So it's going to give me false in that place. So, well, if it was greater than, which is what we did the first time, if I put my greater than sign there, it gives me true because this number here, the joint total score is greater than Samuel's total score. So it gives me true. So the same way, if I want to know if it's equals to, I can use my equals to sign, just put in equals to. So it's going to give me false because the both of them are not equals to each other. Because the both of them are not equals to each other, so it's going to give me false. That's as simple as that. So it gives me false. So if I can also say if it's equals to or greater than. So if it's equals to or greater than, it should give me true. If it's equals to or greater than, so it equals to or greater than, that's what I need to know. So sorry. Greater than or equals to. So it's greater than or equals to, not equals to or greater than. It has to go like this. So if it's greater than or equals to, then enter, it gives me true because it's greater than it. Thanks for the clarification. Okay, you're welcome. Okay, so it gives me true because the number I have here, this one that is in F3 is greater than the one that is in F4, but it's not equals to. But it's just basically what I'm doing here is it has to give me one of these. So if it's greater than, it gives me true. But if it's not greater than and it's equals to, it gives me true too. But if it does not meet any both of them, it gives me false. So let's say if it's lesser than or equals to, it gives us false because it's not lesser than it and it's not equals to it. So it's not lesser than it and it's not equals to it. So now the next comparison that I want to do is not equals to. So to get the not equals to is use your lesser than and equal and greater than. So if you use lesser than and greater than, so it's going to know, if you're asking it, it has to be lesser than and greater than, but it's not going to be equals to it. So if I say lesser than or greater than, if I press enter, so it basically means it can be lesser than or it can be greater than, but it's not equals to, because I not put the equals to there. So if I press enter, it gives me true because it's greater than it. It's greater than. One of the criteria I added there was met, which is greater than. So it gives me true. Hope you understand this. Hope you understand this part. Hope you all understand. No, you don't understand. Lucy. Yes, please. No. So it's quite simple. It's very, very simple. It's very, very simple. Yes. So for the people that said no, it's very, very simple. It's just adding the question you want to ask it. So is this number greater than? So, but what it basically does is it's going to give us the true or false. So if the number is actually greater than, it gives us true. But if the number is not greater than, it gives us false. So, but when we have the greater than sign and the lesser than sign, we are asking it, the number can be greater than and it can also be lesser than. So if it's not any of these two, please give me false. But if it's any of these two, give me true. That's basically why we're asking it there. Under the scenario, like when you're using your if function, I'm just showing you this because this you can also use it in your if function. Okay. Yeah. Wow. My greater than that sign is under in my keyboard. Yes, it's not greater than in Excel is lesser than or equals to. It gives you if it's not. So if you're using greater than or equals to or lesser than, it's going to give you not basically that's what not equals to. So that's we are trying to find the one that's not equals to that particular number. Because if something is greater than something and it's also is you want something to be greater than something or lesser than something, that means you don't want that thing to be equals to. So if it's not greater than or lesser than, it cannot give you true because you are not using equals to, you are using it has to be greater than or equals to. So it's quite simple. Just put in the criteria I want to use. So if I just want to know if it's greater than, I just put in my greater than sign. So to get a greater than sign in your keyboard, someone asked that question. In your keyboard, you hold down shift. At the ending part, you see where when you press your dot, when you press dot in your keyboard, just hold down shift and press that place that you press dot. You're going to get your lesser than your. So I hope that answers. So if you press shift and for the greater than is your comma, for the greater than is where you press your full stop. That's full stop. Your full stop. That's where you get the lesser than or equals to sign. Your full stop. Okay. So someone said I should do it for the which one is hard to keep up in the reading. So someone said I should do it for this one. You can do the same thing. So you can, if you want it to be greater than a particular number, you can do that. So I can say equals to select the number greater than. So if it's greater than, I want the number that is greater than 50. So greater than 60. Whenever that is greater than 60, should give, so greater than 60, should give me true. I can bring this down. So if it's greater than 60, it gives me true. So all of them are greater than 60, so it's giving me true. So I can put 50, and just double click here and bring it down. Sorry. So they are all greater than 50. I want to get one first. So let's say greater than 70. So should get one first with this. So I don't need to be. So we have one first for this one that is 64. Okay. So let me use on-screen keyboard for the people. Someone is saying, can you use on-screen keyboard? So let me use it for my on-screen keyboard. So this is it on the on-screen keyboard here. So if you look at to do that, press down your shift, and then this is it here. You can see your lesser than. I hope you can see my screen in my on-screen keyboard. So you can see this is your lesser than here, and this is your greater than. But to bring it out, you have to press down your shift, hold down the shift, and click where the lesser than is and greater than is to get it. Is that okay? You're saying no. You cannot see my on-screen keyboard. Can you guys see my on-screen keyboard? We can't see it. Okay, wait, did I share? It's like I shared only Excel. Wait, let me check. Like I shared only Excel. Oh, I didn't share the entire screen. Sorry, let me share the entire screen. Can you see it now? Can you see the on-screen keyboard? Can you see the on-screen keyboard? Okay, yes, okay. Sorry, I was sharing just the Excel screen. I didn't know. So let's continue. I was sharing just the Excel screen. Okay, so for the people that want to see the lesser than sign, is you hold down your shift. You can see in my on-screen keyboard, hold down your shift, and this place where you see your comma, I see that there's a comma under here. But to bring out the lesser than sign, I need to hold down shift, and I'll see the lesser than sign here. And this is also the greater than sign. They are side by side, but they are top. So to bring out anything in a keyboard, in any keyboard, if you want to bring in anything that is on top of, like maybe you have the down one and you have something on top, you have to press down your shift. So anything that is on top in any keyboard, like you have in one keyboard, you have two characters there. You have the lesser than, for example, I have the comma, and I have my lesser than for this one now. So to bring the lesser than out, I need to hold down my shift. So the same thing applies to any other one that you get there. So you want to bring it like comma, your close brackets, your brackets, and your close and open brackets, you hold down the shift. Same thing for your asterisk, you hold down your shift. So that's basically anything that is on top of in a particular key that is on top, use shift to bring it out. So hold down your shift and press that. Okay. Hope you understand that. So basically what I just did here is I want to know the ones that are actually greater than a particular number. So if it's greater than 70, see what I just did now. I select the first one and ask if the first one is greater than 70. So select this. Sorry. Select this. So all this stuff that I'm doing here is just the basic one. So like this now, if you know this one, you can easily apply it to your if. You can easily apply it to whenever you want to use a logical function like this. But that's basically what we're doing. This is basically what you're doing when you're using your if. But in that if now, we are using if so that you can pass in something else as instead of using true or false. You know, for this one, we cannot pass in any other thing there. It's just going to give us true or false. But when we use if, we can add a letter that is going to display instead of showing the true or false. That's basically what the if is doing there. But this one is basically what we're using to do the logic there. So this is what we're using to do which is we are doing it comparing. So the if there is to add in the text. So you're saying if this is this and this is this, you put in this text for us. So it's basically the same thing. So if this is this number greater than this, it gives us greater than 70. If it's greater than 70, it gives me true. So with the if now, what I want to do is I want to change this true to either pass. So either maybe I want to award gift. Is either a gift like your plate, your pen, or any other thing that you want to add there. So that's basically okay. Pros type equals to proper a, then present. Okay, this is for sentence case. I didn't see the question someone asked. Okay, let's continue. So let's so that's that. If you understand this one, it's basically easier for you to use if because this is what you're doing. So in if you're just putting the if, then put in this logic, then use that same if to add what you want to display. So use that same if to add what you want to display. So that's basically that. So do you understand it? Hope it's very clear now before I move into the next thing. Next lesson that we have. Please, I want you guys to understand before we move into the next. Is there anybody that does not understand? Mr. Freeman, you are already I already seen you in this class for a long time. So this one should be very easy for you. It's clear. Okay. So before we continue, Mr. Mr. Alex wants to talk to you guys about something. So before we continue the class, so he's gonna just give him like 10 minutes to talk about something with you guys. So I'm gonna give him. So let me tell him to unmute so that. I can't see you. Please, can you raise your hand so that I can see you? Hello. Can you hear me? Just raise your hand so that I can. Wow, as you gain control. Okay, you can just.
Hello, everyone. Okay, so everyone, I'm super excited to be here. So my name is Lex Olo, and I am one of the partners here at Digital World. And I'm just checking on you guys to find out how the experience has been so far. Right. So those of you that don't know, this class is a class hosted by a tech academy. So Digital World is an online tech academy, and we do a whole lot of different programs. So my goal here now is to understand how your experience has been so far and to get feedbacks generally, right? So I do this from time to time, going to our different courses to talk about the experience and know how it's going. Okay, so all you just have to do is raise your hands. I'm going to take about 5 to 6 questions. So if you have a suggestion on how we can improve, if you have a recommendation, if you have so anything, general opinion on how the class has been so far. Has the class been good? Has it been bad? Are you expecting more? Are you getting more than what you paid for? Just raise your hands and I'll allow you to speak. Then we are just going to go. So whatever you say now is going to help us make the class better, and probably is going to help us know that the instructors are actually doing all they should. So Mr. Hakim has taken quite a number of classes. Those of you that are new here, this might be your first class. Okay, that's fine. I have one person, David. Okay, David, you can unmute and speak. David.
Yeah, hello.
Yes, go ahead.
Hello. Yeah, good evening, sir.
No, it's not the lock I mean is not locking something that is uneditable. That's not what I mean. The lock I mean is in that formula that we're doing in the few series, it's going to be locked. That particular formula is going to be that particular formula, the cell is going to be just locked. For example, I think this guy is not understanding what I'm just doing. It's not, what I'm doing is not locking it like you cannot edit it though. Please, what I'm doing is not locking it that you cannot edit. What I'm doing is I'm locking this number now. This is like calling it lock is like confusing you guys. It's not actually locking, like so you will not be able to use it or anything. What I'm doing is I'm like making it stick to that particular number so that it does not move into the next cell. As I said, Excel as default, it moves. If you are doing a formula and you drag down, it moves the formula to the next cell. It does not stick to that same cell I have here because it's in automatically is in your relative cell reference. So that one is automatically in a relative cell reference. So it always moves the cell when it's doing the calculation. It always moves the cell to the next one and use the next cell to do the calculation. It does not stick. So, but in this scenario that we're doing now, in this stuff that we're doing now, we are trying to use the number 3 to calculate the 43 and also use that number 3 to calculate the number 56, and they are not in the same cell, they are in different cells. Are you getting it? And now the number 3 that we have is not in 2, we just have it in 1 cell. You can, this one is not actually must you use it, you can put the next number in this place. If it comes down, you use that same number here. But what if you just want it to be just one place? You don't want to start adding another number in yourself to make yourself unorganized or something like that. You just want it to be in 1 cell and you use that same cell to calculate a range of number one by one. Please mute. Let me mute. Okay. Yes, now I understand what you're saying. So for that, okay, I think I understand what it's doing now. So if you are saying raised to power this number and also times another number, if I put in another number here, like 4, like someone is just explaining. Now if I put in another number like 9 here now, I put in another number like 9 here. I also want to, when I'm saying this now, what I'm doing now is no longer just this raised to power this. I also want to plus this and enter. It gives me the answer, right? If I am trying to move it down, I still need to lock the second one. Now, to lock this one, the same thing. Put in the what's it called? The dollar sign in here, and in the middle, lock it to that same place. Lock this formula to that same place. So he's going to be using this one too. For this part, if I drag down now, you see the same thing. If you come down here, you see it's still locked. The same thing here is still used. That's it. Anyone you want to lock, even if you have like 10 on that row, I want to use that same thing. You want to add all of them together. I want to add all of them together when you get to different cells. That's the same way you do it. You lock all of them like that. Okay, that's it. That's simple. You can lock it. You can lock it too. You have like even 10, you can lock them to that same number and use it for the range you want to use it to calculate. I hope you understand now. So okay. Oh, okay. Okay. That's nice. That's nice. Okay, so any other question? Let me just take your questions today. So another thing I wanted to say is, so if you are watching the video and you have any issue that you want us to sort out for you, you want to sort out in the class, drop it in the group. Don't just leave it in, drop it in the group, because for us, like if you don't see any question on any this thing, we are just going to automatically choose one topic there and start to teach. So for this topic now, for this class now, the reason why I did this class is we got a new student. So I just did it for the new student that just came in newly, that has not been using Excel since. So that's why I did this one. But if you have any question, when you're watching the video, have any issue or anything you want us to treat, you want us to cover, drop it in the group so that we add it to what we are going to be teaching. Because for us, we already have something that we want to go and teach in the class. If you not drop it, so you drop it in the group. That's just drop it in the group so that we can help. Okay, please should concatenate. You should concatenate so there. I don't understand what you're saying. Okay, concentrate. Please should concentrate so there. Don't slow the class down. We've been on the same thing for 30 minutes. Please, some of us have limited time. Okay. You've not been given the video. The link that was given to you is on the video. The video is part of the link. Please, anybody that just joined the class, you just watch the video. I'm going to drop the recorded class in the groups. I'm going to drop the recorded class in the groups. So I'm going to start unmuting for questions. If you have questions, I'm going to unmute you. So raise your hand if you have a question. So because if you start any other thing now, you're going to be finishing by 10:30. So the next class, I'm going to cover a lot. Let's unmute. So I'm already unmuting, asking you to unmute, Mr. Said. If you have a question, if you want to ask a question.
Okay.
Your noise, like your audio is. Do you have a question? Mr. Said, do you have a question? I can't hear you. Can anyone hear Mr. Said? I can't hear anything he's saying. He has gone out. Okay, Miss Kate, you can unmute now. I already asked you to unmute. Let me.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. You're welcome.
Okay, please, a quick one. Thank you
Yeah.
for the good job you're doing so far.
Yeah.
I just want to know what's the duration for this course, and is it just every Fridays we'll be having our classes?
Yes, for the Excel classes every Friday by 7.
Okay, so what's the
Yeah.
duration?
6 weeks. But it goes beyond 6 weeks. We are just saying 6 weeks, but it goes beyond 6 weeks. It's 6 weeks. They say 6 weeks, but it actually goes beyond 6 weeks. If you have any even if you have any question that you feel like you need it urgently, you can DM any one of us. Me and Mr. Akim are the one teaching Excel. DM us will help you out. Even when the class is after the 6 weeks, we're always there to help out.
All right, that's fine. Thank you. Then, okay, you've already said you're going to share the link.
Yeah, I'm
for
going to share it.
All right.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I didn't unmute you. Oh, sorry. I will just raise your hand. I will unmute you now. Very sorry. I have asked how use the drop down is quite easy. I'm going to show you how to do the drop down. That one is easy. To do drop down is a list of text like this. Okay, I'm going to show you before we close the class. Let me take more questions. I'm going to show you the drop down. So who else? Raise your hand if you have a question. Is there no other question? Mr. Said, you have a question. If you are, raise your hand so that you can ask a question. I will unmute you. Okay, thank you. I will do that. Mr. Said, it's like he's no longer here. Okay, so any other question? Any question? Is there any question? Seems like there's no other question. Okay, let me do the drop down. If you have questions, raise your hand up while I'm doing the drop down. So if I want to do a drop down, quite simple. Just create your drop down list. So let's say I'm using Kate, Joy, and then Peter as my drop down. So let's come to data. You go to data menu. So you get your data menu tab, data, come to data validation, then data validation here, then change this to list. Then they're going to ask you source of the list. You select this and click down and then click on OK. That's it. You have your drop down, select the one you want. Have your drop down, select the one you want. Have your drop down, select the one you want. Okay. I hope that is okay, Mr. What's his name again? Mr. Favor. Is it Favor? Is it girl? Is it woman? I hope you understand that now. Yes, okay. So Mr. Said, I already raised this. Let me unmute. You can unmute and answer your question now. Go ahead and ask your question. Sorry, I didn't know I didn't unmute you then. Lost. That is a long walk. Okay, Mr. Said, go ahead and ask your question. I can't hear you. Why can't I hear you? Mr. Said. Mr. Said, can you hear me? Mr. Said, I cannot hear you.
One way again. I think this one is also 6 weeks.
Which one is 6 weeks? This example is 6 weeks support system. It's 6 weeks. Mr. Said. Your network. I don't know if it's your network, but I cannot even hear anything I think. Let me just move on to the next one. Okay, Mr. Marcus, you can unmute. I have already asked you to unmute. I already asked again. Mr. Marcus, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Good evening, sir.
Yeah, good evening. You're welcome, sir. Good evening.
Thank you so much for taking your time to share this. Sorry, I joined late, but I want to ask a question about the Power BI training.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yes, when would that one come up?
It's coming.
It's coming different?
Up. Is it? No, it's not within the 6 weeks. No, it's not within. Now it's going to be coming up every Monday and Saturday. Monday and Saturday. That's the days.
Power BI.
Yeah, Power BI, Excel, Power BI, and SQL.
Okay.
Yeah.
But this class is basically for Excel, the one on Friday.
Just
right?
Excel only.
Okay. So if one is interested in Excel and Power BI, it means one will attend classes on Monday and Saturday.
Yes. But that is for data analysis, and that is different from this one. It's not like the same package as this one. Do you get it?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I can hear you, but your network is breaking a bit. Can you hear me?
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead and speak. I can hear you. Go ahead. Please, can any other person hear Mr. Marcus? I don't know if it's my... Okay, I can hear you now. Go ahead. Mr. Marcus, go ahead. I can hear you. Mr. Marcus. What's this now? I don't know if it's my own network or you can. Oh, okay. I will do that, Mr. Said. Mr. Marcus, please try raising your hand up again. I think his network just went off. I cannot hear him. Okay, so I will unmute you, Mr. Said. Just a minute. Let's Techno, please go ahead. Techno Spark, go 2020. I already asked you to unmute, so go ahead and unmute. Okay. Go ahead and speak. I can hear you. Go ahead. You've not said anything. Can you hear me? Techno Spark. What's going on with this network today now? I don't know if it's network or something else. Please, if you can hear me, Mr. Techno, if you cannot say anything, just type your question on the chat. I will respond to that. I'll respond to you. Just type it on the chat, please. I have to ask another person because you're not saying anything. I don't know if it's your network. But if you can hear me, just type your question on the chat. I would answer that. Mr. Said, you can go ahead and unmute. Let me mute him. Okay. Because this 6 week is not enough. Why are you saying not enough? The video is there. The video that I was giving to you. This is just a support system. This is just for us to support you. You watch the video and come to the class and ask your questions. That's what this support. It's not like we are going to be teaching, but just pick up random this thing from. And the video is what you are meant to be going through. Then come to support system and ask a question. That's how it works. Okay, Mr. Said, go ahead and ask your question.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah. Wow. I cannot even hear anything again. Please, can anyone hear Mr. Said?
Excuse me. What I want to ask is for it. I know too. I want the video to go through some video, and I try to practice.
I try to practicalize. I can't hear you anymore. Is it not something you can chat? You can just drop in the chat. I don't know what's going on. I cannot hear. Just come up and break again. We can hear you, but not Said.
Along the way, I have an error. Akim and the other guy, they successful. Except video. So can I be able to do so by just identify it in, let's say, in a word that they can add for us that in this video one, this is what is there. In this video two.
Okay, if I get what you are saying, because it's just breaking and coming up again. I don't. It's just breaking half. I don't. If I get, it's just to identify them. The names are on them. The name of what you are covering is there. Just read the video. The name of the video. You know what
this is what is there, so that we know the video.
Ah, hello. In unmute again. I would unmute you, Mr. Techno. Don't worry, I will unmute you. Mr. Said, seriously, just type your question in the group, in the chat. So if I guess you are saying the name, read the name on the video. The name is on the video. The name is on the video. What you're trying to get, the videos that you have there. If you even over the video, you see the name there, the name of what you're trying to do. You know, it's in Google Drive. There's a way you need to arrange it on your own screen to be able to see the name. But if you over the video, you see the name there. Caption, hey, the video have well caption. So I don't know if maybe you are using your phone and this is not showing well. It's well captioned. You should be able to understand it there. Okay, so Mr. I say Mr. Techno, please unmute. I already gave you ask. Okay, go ahead. I can hear.
Okay. Hello, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I can hear you now.
Okay. The question I wanted to ask is the SQ and the Power BI different? Is it different from another class? From
no, it's different from, yeah, no, the SQL and Power BI is for data analysis. This one is just Excel. Like I said, the SQL and Power BI is going to be taught in the data analysis class.
Okay, no problem. Now, the question I wanted to ask is that these days I've been working on one problem.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm stating it, maybe you can get it. Let's assume we have a column A for name, and then column B for credit, then column C for balance. Okay. So that column, column A is for January to December.
Okay.
Then those people, they are making contributions. So for column B, he paid on January, maybe he paid 5,000. So that column C will now show you your balance. Then for February, he paid another 10,000. So I want that column C to add it together. If not, I've not come with my system. If not, I should have shared it so that if you see the way I do.
You use VLOOKUP. You know what? I cannot be showing you this. Use VLOOKUP. That's all you need to use for that. For what I know, you need to use VLOOKUP to do that.
Okay, maybe next class. I'll show you personally, or maybe next class.
You can show me personally, then we'll bring it to the next class for anybody that has issue so that other person will understand. Just you can message me personally if it's something that you need to do urgent. But if it's not that urgent, you can bring it to the next class.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, no other hand is being raised. I guess the people were raised before, they are not dependent. Okay, so is there another person that has a question? Is there another question? Any other question? Okay, someone just raised his hand. Mr. You can't. Sorry. Mr. Marcus, I'll let you unmute just a bit. Mr. You can go ahead, Mr. Lamia. Please don't forget to drop. I will definitely drop the video. Okay, Mr. Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, I asked a question earlier on in the chat box, but I don't know. I stepped out small and then went and prayed. I don't know whether it has been answered.
Okay, what's the
But
question?
I'm already working on an Excel. Now, what happened is that when I try to create the all borders,
Yeah.
then when I do that command, then you realize that it will rather erase the default cells that is already there.
Erase the default cells, right?
Yeah, it will erase the cells already there. My borders does not create.
Can you see my screen now? Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can see your screen.
Is this what you're trying to do?
Yes.
Up like this, right?
Yes.
This is it now.
Yes. But
Okay,
rather, my borders, the one already there rather erases. Yes, I don't know why. Meanwhile, this never happened to me. It's only today.
It might be from your, you know what? Chat me up, let's solve that for my like together. It might be from your because it's working on my own right this now. Let's just do it together. Chat me up. Just chat me up whenever you are free. Then I will know because I need to be seeing it with you so that I can actually see. But because mine is working now, so do you get what you understand what I'm saying, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, just chat me up. Yeah.
So I should chat you.
Don't worry, you can. So okay, go ahead. I can hear you. You want to ask another question?
No, no, please.
Yeah.
I didn't hear what you said. The line was breaking. You said I should do what?
Chat me up, so that we can you can show me with your own system. So I'll just help you.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll chat you up. Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. So someone is saying this attention span has already reached the limit. Please, you can leave if you if you cannot cope anymore. This is just question and answer. I'm just asking question. I'm not teaching anything. I'm just asking people's question. So I'm also going to drop the video. If you want to know the question I answered, you can watch the video. So Mr. Marcus, I'm asking you to unmute, so you can unmute now. Unmute to answer your question.
Okay, thank you, sir. I dropped my question in the chat box. I wanted to know, you mentioned classes on Monday, Friday, and Saturday.
That one is for people that are in the Friday is for Excel. That's for this class that we're having now. But for Monday and Saturday is for data analysis class. For people that paid for data analysis class. That's that for that.
Okay, so I make payment, I can join that class for tomorrow, right?
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
But they gave a limited. Go ahead and make payments. I'll just go ahead and make payments. So if you make payments, drop your listing on the group, and you'll be added to the group for the people that are going to attend the class.
It's all right. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Okay. Mr. Do you still have any other question? Your hand is still raised. Not Mr. Lemia. No, not spell your name. Is there any other question? Is just okay? He has removed this. Any other question from anyone, or should I just call it a day? Data analysis is how much? It's 10,000 naira for Nigerians. It's 10,000 naira, but for Ghanaians, it's 250 Ghana cedis. Nigerian 10,000, Ghanaians 250 Ghana cedis. Hope you got it now, Miss Maria. What duration? 8 weeks. You have videos too, but this one, in that one now is classes. We go topic by topic for each and every topic we have, and it's going to cover Excel in-depthly and Power BI and SQL. So, senior, sure you go drop the. I'll drop the video. Sure, I'll drop the video. I'll surely drop the video. That's not issue. Okay. Is that Miss Miriam? Is there another person raising hand? Okay, no other hand. Any other question? If you have any other question, drop in the chat box. If there's no question, I would like to call it a day. Please, can I swap? Swap what? Can you swap? If you want to register for the data analysis, it's 10,000 naira. You cannot swap for 3,000 for that. You cannot swap. If you want to register for the data analysis, it's 10,000. You want to register for 10,000? Data analysis is 10,000 naira. You can pay for it and you'll be part of the class. No problem. You want to go to that class. Any other question? Any other question? Please chat in the drop your question in the group if you have any other question. If there's no other question, I would like to call the class. Okay, one person just dropped. Thanks very much. Bye. Please, can we get certification? Yeah, you're gonna get certification after the program. There's a certification. You're gonna get certification after the program. That's sure. You're gonna get certification after the program. Okay, can you show how to freeze pin? Okay, that's easy. So I'm going to do that. You guys are really good. I appreciate it. Okay. Yeah. So freeze pin quite very easy. I'm going to show. That's the last thing I'm going to show. Please, any other question, drop it to the group for the next class. So the freeze pin, select the row you want to use. That's another question. Please, do you guys teach other softwares? Yeah, we teach other softwares. So if we teach other softwares, you teach graphic design. If you want to learn graphic design, if you want to learn another software, just DM Akim, me, or Mr. Alex. We're going to answer your question on that. Well done, sir. Please, I want to know how to make a particular column within a sheet on editable. Please let me take that next class. Let me just take the freeze pin. That is going to be in the next class. So freeze pin. Yeah, my saliva self one day. So select the row you want to use and come to the rows you want to freeze. So let's say I just want to freeze let me move this up. So let me go back like this. So select this row. This is what I want to freeze. Here, you can see freeze pin. On freeze pin. I think okay, now, so to freeze, you can freeze different ways. You can select it. If you select it and freeze and say freeze pin, it's going to freeze, but look at where it's freezing it from me. You see, it's freezing it from me, but I want it to freeze the first one. So basically what you need to do is go back there and freeze and then freeze first column. So freeze first column, which is this. Freeze first row. Sorry, I said column instead of row. Freeze first row. So that's it. So it's freeze first row, not column. Column is just one. So freeze first row. So we select it. So remember, select. You want to freeze this first row. Select, come here on freeze. Unfreeze and say freeze either column. Column is this way. Remember, the column is the letters. So one of freeze the row, freeze first, the top row. You freeze top row, and you see the top row has been freezed. That's the report. Student report. That's how you freeze your row. Is that? Do you understand that? I don't know who asked the question, but I hope you understand now. Can you? Yeah, Mr. Mobola. Hope you understand now. Are you still in this class? I don't know if you're still. So that's it. So, okay, you understand now, right? Okay, that's okay. So please, any question you have while watching, if you have any issue, drop it in the group so that we know that we're going to that part. Drop it in the group. Drop it in the group. Even if it goes far, when we want to start the class, you can reference it, make a reference to it so that we know that that's that. So I guess you just drop into the group. That's your issue so that we can go to if you have a particular, like plenty of guys going through one issue, you can just cover that particular part for that class. So, but the next class I'm going to be talking about count if I'm going to be the one taking the class. So I might not be the one, but if I'm going to be the one, I'm going to be talking about count if. So you can go to the count if videos for the next class, which is going to be on Friday. Okay, so that's that. So have a great day, guys. Or have a great weekend. See you guys in the data analysis class tomorrow. If you not paid, see you on Friday in the Excel class. Bye. Good night, everyone. Good night. Good night, everyone. Please, you can leave the class. I'm trying to actually leave. So good night. Okay. Thanks. I'll see you tomorrow. Yeah. Good night. Good night. I guess you paid. This one you're saying, see me tomorrow. Right? Good night, Mr. Marcus. Good night. Good night. Ending the class. Good night. Someone is raising his hand now. I cannot answer your question. Please. Okay, I'm the one raising my hand. Jesus.